Hello, BookTube. I have some books for you today. Another random assortment on a beautiful, bright, clear summer July day. Uh, Much hotter weather is coming next week, but for now, just lovely. So the low breezes along the ground, so that walking the little baby outside is perfectly comfortable. And we've got a few packages here and a box, and I think the box is a continuation of my library book sale summer, which would be very good, where I've put out the word to all of you that you must go to your library book sales and you must buy books for me, not for yourself. But the first two are from publishers, so let's see what those are. Oh, okay. Oh, how interesting. Oh, this is from Bloomsbury. Okay. Let's see what we have here. A lovely thing. This is Among the Burning Flowers by Samantha Shannon. This comes out in September, but this is the advanced copy, and the advanced copy is wording. The selling point is on the back. The Prior of the Orange Tree is mentioned. And then the front is gold leaf wording. The fire beneath must rage above, all must burn from shore to shore. That's kind of neat. So let's see here. This is a breathtaking new standalone novel set in the world of The Prior of the Orange Tree and A Day of Fallen Night. This book follows Morosa Vitelda, the captive crown princess of the divided kingdom of Yskalin, her betrothed Albrecht Livellen, and Dragonslayer Estina Malago as the long-dormant worms begin to rise. The shortest novel Shannon has ever written, this is the perfect on-ramp for new readers while offering longtime fans a deeper glimpse into the world's earlier, darker history. Okay, well, this comes out in hardcover in late September. I was going to mention that this is rather skimpy in size, considering how big the other two books are. But it sounds like this is not necessarily a prequel. It looks like the publisher is going out of their way to avoid wording like that. That this is rather an introduction to the world earlier than the events in the other two books. That's good. That's always a canny strategy for an author, especially an author who's writing intimidatingly huge books. Okay, that's nothing. What have we got here? Oh, okay. Well, all I got was an invoice for this thing, not a pub sheet, but we can read the copy on the back. This is Edward Larson. This is Declaring Independence, Why 1776 Matters. I'm going to be absolutely flooded with books like this next year. Next year is the 250th anniversary of the United States of America. So there's going to be a huge number of books that are already on the books, that have already been vetted and are in the works for 2026. Just bitter. Just an incredibly bitter piece of timing. Mainstream American public, 200 million of them voted for a fascist. 200 million of them are okay with fascism. They're okay with living in a dictatorship. And all 320 million have just accepted, with a tiny fraction of a handout, maybe 5,000 people, 10,000 tops. All of those people, whether they voted for a fascist or not, have just begun to accept the idea that Gestapo raids anywhere in the country could just take someone, could take them. And you don't know where those people are going. You are Germans in the 1930s. You don't know where those people are going. You are hoping that they're not just being killed. You don't have any, there's no record. There's no train of evidence at all to know whether or not they're being killed or brutalized. You're just, you're hoping that it only happens to them, to other people, to the people who maybe vaguely in some sort of way that you haven't thought about deserve it. And B, you're hoping that it's not fatal, that your government, with your blind eye, is not actually committing a massive war crime, something that, if there are history books in 100 years, will be noting it alongside the most massive war crimes in human history. You're hoping, on one level, when you see footage every day of masked, identityless, warrantless Gestapo agents raiding schools, raiding immigration centers, raiding grocery stores. When you hear stories at the edge of the information bubble that you live in about how a lot of the people that were taken have no criminal records, and how a lot of the people who were taken aren't illegal immigrants, they're actually American citizens, and you think, by next year, that will be completely common. It will be an absolutely common, everyday occurrence. And there won't be any resistance to it. There's barely any resistance to it now when you talk about per capita or percentage of the country. So celebrating the birth of the United States of America next year is going to be the single most bitter experience of my life. Maybe I won't be here to see it. That's one thing. But yeah, this book even mentions it, approaching the 250th anniversary of 1776. When the United States declared that it was a free and independent nation, that it was free of the tyranny of the whim of a tyrant, of one man who could simply declare his will, and who had a puppet legislature who would make that will happen. 1776, where Americans said, we don't want a king who can simply rule by edict and by fear and by force. 1776 is when America said that. And America, in the aggregate, no longer believes that. Now, if being the slave to a totally whimsical king who rules by edict and has masked thugs enforcing his will, if living in that kind of dystopian nightmare means that I'm really, really going to annoy that one uppity, overeducated cousin of mine, then I'm willing to do it. Irritating that cousin or that online influencer or that imaginary foe of mine from grade school, irritating that person means more to me than literally anything at all. My freedom, my children's freedom, my life, it means more to me than literally anything at all, is outraging them, getting them to sputter. So books like this, once upon a time, I looked forward to 2026 and thought, if you're alive and an active reader in 2026, what a glut of books on one of your favorite periods of American history, what a glut of books there will be. It never occurred to me in those decades, those years past, that I would dread it, that I would absolutely dread that anniversary, that I'd hope not to live to see it. I guess we should just get I should just get started in getting used to these books. So what has Edward Larson got to say? Apparently he's a Pulitzer Prize winner. The self-evident truths of 1776 hover over our national divisions, and inspiring ideals as measures of how far we still must come, as the hypocrisy of slave owners, as intrusions on local traditions. The revolutionary politics of 1776 turned from securing the rights of Englishmen to establishing the authority of an independent nation. The battlefields of 1776 cast the military mold for the war years to come, and gave us enduring symbol of gritty determination in the actions of Washington's depleted forces at Trenton and Princeton. Drawing together the eloquence of Jefferson and the insistence of Thomas Paine, the strategies of generals and the audacious tactics of armies on the move, and the powerful political movement that transformed colonies into states, this history of 1776 is a leading scholar's distillation of the pivotal events that we must reckon with 250 years after the nation's birth. Yes, Boston broke the King's peace because Boston was subject to military occupation, to troops quartered in houses and on Boston Common, to the whim of that, to having no ability to redress that by conversation, no ability to go and say this is against the law. And Boston was one of the first targets for a Gestapo raid under the current regime. Totally illegal, totally unconstitutional. No warrants, no probable cause, no permission from the governor. to enter your state and start brutalizing your citizens. No, nothing like that. Same thing is true in every other anti-Trump state. They've all been subjected to these kinds of raids. And the Trump states think, well, yeah, I mean, you're guilty of heresy. You're guilty of disrespecting our God. So you get what you pay for. This is what I voted for, is the refrain. So yeah, these books are going to be all but impossible to read. I obviously cannot, or I have made the decision more or less officially in my own mind. I have made the decision not to read any more Trump cult books. What would be the point? Trump cult won. They won. So they won, they rule everything, they will prevent their own loss of power from here on out until the way these things always end, which is in physical destruction from the outside. Only that's not, that pattern will be broken here. This will be the worst possible example of American exceptionalism, because every other time that a fascist government has taken over a free country, and made war on the rest of the world, attacked the rest of the world, become whimsically belligerent, so that one day you're my friend, the next day you're my enemy, the day after that you're my friend, because it's just one man who gets up in a bad mood some days. Every other time that has happened, the result has been the same. That country has had to be destroyed from the outside by a coalition of otherwise enemies, of countries who are otherwise enemies. No governing system can endure a rabid militant fascism in their midst. It is the cancer cell that they all recognize. Eventually, they will destroy it. There are other kinds of systems, other kinds of governmental systems that can rack up just as high a body count, that can be just as awful, but the governments of the world, no matter what their own governing system is, will not band together against that. It's just fascism that is viewed as rabid. We need to destroy this. And the American exceptionalism comes from the fact that pattern has never played out with a country that has nukes. And not only can use them, but where the one man in charge has said often that he wants to use them. So that, anyway, sorry for the digression. This is declaring independence, but the cover copy makes it sound like this is going to be about a lot of other things. Yeah, this is 7 chapters, and chapter 7 is Winter Crossings, which I'm assuming is Trenton and Princeton. So this isn't just about the Declaration of Independence. There have been great books on just the Declaration of Independence, but it seems like this is going to be about the beginning of the war. Okay, well, it comes out in November, so not quite 2026. The flood in 2026 is going to be unbelievable. Founding Father biographies, single-volume histories of 1776, single-volume histories of Concord and Lexington, of the American Revolution from start to finish, etc., etc. There's going to be a cascade of such books. All right. Well, anyway, let's move on to the box, because the box is from one of you. These are proceeds from a library book sale where I have put the word out that if you go to your library book sale, you should tell me what you're seeing and give me a chance to scream for it. And a number of you have done that. You're also long suffering when it comes to putting up with Steve. But a number of you have done that, and this is a big, heavy box. I don't. These email discussions have been going on for quite some time, so I don't know exactly what will be in this box. But let's see. Got plastic bags for packing. I wonder if I can get rid of this here. It's a little easier. Yes, there we go. All right. Okay, I got the box open. Sorry about that throat clearing about Larson's declaring independence. I like I say, when I open books without knowing what they are, when I open the envelopes blind, I don't know what I'm going to get or what path they're going to take me down. I will cap the discussion. I'll try never to have this discussion again on this channel, but I will cap the discussion by repeating what I have been saying now for 6 years on this channel. If you are an American and you are not a fascist, you should emigrate from this country. No nonsense about standing your ground or believing in this country or loving it or helping other people or an underground railroad. No nonsense of any of that kind. If you're an American and you're not a fascist in 2025, you should emigrate from this country promptly. The Trump regime is already starting to pay special attention not to immigration, illegal immigration, or even legal immigration, but to emigration. They're already starting to pay attention to that. And we have already seen people who wanted to visit this country, enter this country, no criminal record, even the right skin color for a racist regime, who were denied entry even though they spent thousands of dollars on preparation, on hotel reservations and conference speaking fees and plane fare. They were denied entrance because criticism of the regime was found on their phone. We've already seen instances of that has happened 5 or 6 times that we know of, probably 20 or 30 times that we don't know of. That has already happened, where people have been denied entry to this country solely on that grounds. You were critical of the regime, so you may not enter. And that was done by seizing the phones of the people involved and simply conducting an illegal search on them. Just looking around on what you've done on social media in the last 6 months. Absent a warrant from a judge with your name on it, that is illegal, but it doesn't matter. And I want to point out what I think is obvious. I guess it's not obvious to everybody, considering immigration numbers that I've been able to see. A regime that does that is going to do the reverse. They're going to say to that annoying cousin that they want to P-own, they're going to say to that cousin, well, I notice on your social media that you've criticized the regime, so you can't leave. You have to stay, and we'll keep an eye on you. Or maybe you have to stay, but you don't have to go back home. Maybe now that we've found you, we have a place for you. There is at least one concentration camp now on American soil, whose goal is to kill its prisoners. The goal of the installation that was erected in 2 minutes with IKEA furniture in Florida is to kill its inmates, none of whom are there legally. None of them are there through due process. The last thing I'll say on this is you should put those pieces together instead of being a fool and waiting for history to put them together for you. A regime that can tell a stranger with no ill intent whatsoever who liked a J.D. Vance meme on Facebook, you may not enter the country, too bad about your money, you're lucky we don't do worse, go home. A regime that can say that to them can say to you, we saw that you liked this on Facebook, we don't like that you did, you're not allowed to leave. You're in custody. Or at the very least, in the best case scenario, we're sending you back home. But you're not allowed to leave the country. We don't want you spreading this abroad. The one is illegal. It is illegal to do that. That is not just cause at a border. The other is also illegal. And once you're dealing with illegal, we're not talking about, well, sure, that thing was a little bit illegal, but the thing you're talking about that they might do to me is a lot illegal. No. They are arresting, they are apprehending and kidnapping masked, armed men are kidnapping American citizens without warrant and without cause. No one knows where those people are going, but there's already one concentration camp on American soil, and we have financial contracts with 2 off American soil that we know of. You should emigrate from this country. Your observation of the 250th anniversary of the United States of America should be to leave it and never come back. And also, as a very good precaution, wherever you end up, Portugal, the Netherlands, wherever you end up, Don't tell people you're American. Anyway, all right. I promise I'm done now. So let's go on to this this box, which is full of gifts. Very, very nice. What have we got here? Oh, okay. All right. This is Charles Osborne. This is his biography of W.H. Auden. There is Auden with his cause of death. This is a remarkably good biography of Auden. I sampled or read all of them that I could find. All of them and all of the memoirs, even little memoirs. I thankfully have the Brattle Bookshop, so those little memoirs that got no print run at all do crop up. And I loved this one. Just loved it. Again, the acid test of a thing like this is a tough one, which is not did you assemble or go over all the materials of the life, but do you understand the art, regardless of what the art is. That's tough. That can scupper an artist's biography of any kind. And Osborne is a pretty good reader of Auden's verse. I would have ignored this book completely. In fact, I did ignore it when it came out in the early 1990s. Is that right? No, 1979. I know that I did ignore this when it came out. I probably just passed my eyes over it and thought nothing of it because at the time I was dismissing Auden, the poet. And I'm not anymore. At all. I spent a long time, over a year, just living with Auden's verse. And he is a genius. He is every bit as brilliant as all sorts of intellectual figures in the book chat world have been telling me for decades that he is. The jury is still out on Larkin along those lines, but with Auden, I am totally convinced. And because I am who I am, during that process, I read every biography and all of the letters and journals and mentions and whatnot. I started with my wall of book criticism. I started with that. Exhausted, because there's a lot on Auden on that wall, including a lot of pieces in anthologies from critics where in those olden days I would have looked at the table of contents and simply skipped the Auden bits. I didn't skip them this time. I went after them this time. And then I moved from there to biographies, all the while reading the poetry. So I'm very happy to have a copy of this. That's wonderful. And that's just the first book. There are lots of books in this box. Oh, great. Okay, this next one, this is much needed. This, I promise not to go on a rant. You've had plenty of political rants in this video alone. I don't imagine anybody's watching this, but if you did, I apologize. That subject, I'm hoping I will control myself. But since I've already done it for a book that I didn't see coming, I don't need to do it again. So I will just show you this instead. This is The Nightmare Years by William Shirer, the author of The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich. And I have a trade paperback of this that I really like. Once upon a time in the 80s, there was a trade paperback design, original artwork, a banner across the front and back with space up on the top for the title, but the artwork not extending to the top. It was really, I really love that paperback design. I grab it whenever I see it. And I grabbed it for The Nightmare Years, but I go back to this book. And that trade paperback doesn't stand going back to, and this does. So somebody sent me a picture of this just sitting there in perfect condition on their library shelf. I automatically wanted it. These are the years that William Shirer was there to see the final transformation, the transformation of a liberal democracy into an autocratic dictatorship with one extremely unstable, stupid man at the top, whose whims dictated everything that society did, and whose bigotries governed the masked, uncredentialed, unlawful thugs who roamed the streets abducting people. That was all the whims of one man, and Shirer was there watching it happen. And like a lot of people in Germany at the time, every step of the way, every year of the way, 1933, 1934, every year of the way, everyone was saying, well, no, I mean, it's bad. These people are obviously nuts. He looks weird. He's got bronze skin and obviously fake hair, or rather, he's got slicked down hair and a weird mustache, but this won't go on, and it won't become serious. And I hear stories about these thugs, but it's never happened to me. I doubt it could happen to me. And maybe because it's not happening to me, maybe the people it is happening to, maybe they've got it coming in some way. I'm no lawyer. this is Shirer just chronicling that. The Nightmare Years makes really good. It's grim reading, but Shirer's a great writer. But it makes really good reading alongside Victor Klemper's diaries of the exact same time period. Really, really good to read those two side by side. Let's see here. Oh, right. Okay, this is another Auden book. This is Auden with His Cause of Death. This is a tribute by Stephen Spender, where he pulls together a whole bunch of people to write about Auden and what he meant to them and whatnot. A lot of these people, Robert Medley, Jeffrey Grigson, Edward Mendelsohn, Lincoln Kirstein, a lot of these people also wrote books. Some of them little memoirs, little slim 100-page memoirs about what it was like to be Auden's pen pal or his friend or whatnot. Those are the kinds of books that I'm talking about. Here they have shorter versions of those tributes all gathered together in one book. And I've only had this book out of a library. So very happy to have it now in my own possession and to see the prismatic way that Auden looked to all of these people. What is this next one? Oh, you saucy little minx. The person sending this sent something I did not see. I don't remember this. This is another Auden book. This is Alan Levy's book, In the Autumn of the Age of Anxiety. A study of Auden that has been referenced in so many Auden books that I have read. Oh wow! So this is a library book. So just printed it like that. I will peel this label off here, but otherwise this will work just fine. I'm sure that that's the cover of the trade paperback, and I'm sure that if I ever saw this thing, I would see it as a trade paperback, which wouldn't hold up. Oh, great. Well, one of the little side effects of that huge Auden project that I did, largely off camera, in the last 4 years, one of the little side effects of a project like that is that you build up a library. If you're me, you build up a library, and I did. I built up a library of Auden books that I have, and these are all great additions to that library. That's fantastic. What is this next one? Library stuff all over it. Oh, right. Oh, boy. This is Jacob Abbott, who was a preacher man, and he wrote a slew of books. He wrote a slew of biographies for young people, for children, not boys and girls, but not fully adult either. They are marvelously readable, just marvelously so. And this is his book on Hannibal. There is an artist representation of Hannibal right there. Incredible. So this book came out in, I don't know if this reprint will even tell me. Abbott was a fascinating figure, a warm, gentle man, a funny man, although you'd never guess it from, you'd never know about him anyway, but look at that. Somebody just bound this for the library, so you can barely make it out. It says Hannibal Abbott. And he was a preacher, and he preached and lived about 5 minutes from my front door. I knew this area when it didn't look like this at all. This area is this whole ridge, whole hill used to be wooded with no houses at all, except for 2 buildings, which were not houses, they were workshops. And I'm living in one of them, and then there was another one over that way. Abbott would have known this place when it looked like that, and when it was mentally a far greater distance from the center of Boston than it is now. How wonderful. I never see his books used. Never. And he wrote a bunch. He wrote a lot of them. He really enjoyed writing. Fantastic. All right. This next one is Robert Silverberg, the great science fiction author. Something that if people are coming to Robert Silverberg from the Machiavelli Chronicles or Dying Inside or whatnot, they might not know in the 21st century that he wrote a huge amount of nonfiction. He very much liked doing that. Him and Asimov. They very much like doing. They're both very good at it. And I don't see his nonfiction at all. His science fiction turns up because it falls into the hands of collectors. But I almost never see his nonfiction. And this is in the realm of Prester John. a persistent late medieval myth. Prester John was a mythical figure that built up a huge body of legend. And if I remember this book correctly, I read this as a mass market paperback that was, if I remember correctly, packaged like a science fiction novel, even though it's nonfiction. And in this book, Silverberg wants to get to the bottom of whether or not there ever was a Prester John. Kind of a quest for the real Dracula or a quest for the real King Arthur sort of thing. Always gripping. Silverberg never wrote anything that wasn't. So fantastic to have a piece of his. Let's see. Oh, right. Okay. Great. Okay, this is Ralph Roeder. We've seen this book on this channel many times. This is The Man of the Renaissance. And I have this as one of those Time Incorporated trade paperbacks that really isn't well made. It's got a fresco of Florence on the cover, and that's always appealing. It also has sentimental value for me because I know that I read it first in that volume and have had copies of that volume many, many times. But the reason that I've had many copies of that Time Inc. volume is because it breaks apart. It snaps into pieces. Here is a hardcover of the book, so I don't need to worry. This is remarkably eloquent and remarkably insightful. It's really, really good on a whole bunch of different men of the Renaissance. And yet, the star of this show, by far, is Machiavelli. I have read many, many books on Machiavelli, studies of him, of his so-called philosophy or his outlook on the life, and also lots and lots of biographies. One of my favorite books is nonfiction books, is by Sebastian de Gracia, and is a biography of Machiavelli. But there's no better portrait of Machiavelli and the workings of Renaissance diplomacy than in this book, among many other things. There's lots of other great stuff in here. Aretino gets a better portrayal in these pages than anywhere else that I've ever read. How wonderful to have it as a nice, solid hardcover. That is great. Sorry, this video is going long. That's because of the lectures. So I will know better than to lecture next time. I'm done lecturing on that subject. I'm done lecturing on the subject, and I'm also done advising you. There's only so much you can do. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him save himself. If you haven't listened to my warnings and aren't listening to them now, even when you can look at the daily news, then you never are going to listen. You're just going to be all your life, all your reading life, reading all those histories of Germany in the 1930s, the nightmare years, and thinking, what dummies they were. What did they need, a house to fall on them? How did they not leave? They had the means, they had the warning, they had the opportunity before the borders closed, and they didn't do it. What kind of dummies were they? All that reading, all that time that you said those things. That's why the video is long, because of those digressions. And those, in my own defense, they both came at me by surprise. So I will be mentally on guard next time. You should leave this country. Your idiotic pride about your local roots or whatnot notwithstanding, you should leave this country. You should emigrate with your loved ones. You don't have much more time before that is not allowed. If you're 60, do you know how to scrub your internet presence? I bet you don't. Do you know how to scrub it well enough so that DHS can't see it? Or can't tell that you just scrubbed it? I bet not. Is there anything critical of the regime going back 10 years? Anyway, let's move on here. Let's finish. Max Raden's book. This is Max Raden's book from 1915, The Jews Among the Greeks and Romans. A study of where they crop up in all of the countries where we have good records and in all of the writings, all of the original writings. Always interesting to see. All right. Well, we're not exactly done yet, but we'll go a little faster. What is this thing? Oh my God, you've seen better days, haven't you? I can't even read the cover. It's inscribed SS Emmanuel 1908. So it's pretty old. Another Jacob Abbott. Oh, fantastic. This is his profile of Romulus. Was not a real person. This is going to lean heavily on Plutarch. Oh, fantastic. Well, Abbott's this is in a really rough shape, but Abbott is a treasure to read anyway. It doesn't really matter to me whether he's writing about someone mythological or not. Oh, this is the same person. This is Emmanuel SS Library. I don't know if that's a library now or a person. Also 1908. So this is another Abbott. Yes, this is Alexander the Great. This is the book is 1901 and the inscription is from 1908 when it was 10 cents. Oh, this is his book on Alexander the Great. Now this will be great because Abbott knew all five of the sources that we have for Alexander, and the physical evidence that we have since then, in the centuries since then, doesn't radically change the narrative of Alexander's life. So here you're going to get all the research that you might want and all the eloquence. And it doesn't really matter that it's pitched for children. It's still going to be the complete story. Abbott had a very high opinion of children. He didn't. He might have written the book for them, but he didn't believe in condescending to them. Oh right. Oh fantastic. Oh great. Okay. This is a translation of Cortez's letters from Mexico. The translation is by A.R. Pagen, and this is from the Orion Press in 1971. So you've got, that is the introduction there, and here is the book. Fantastic. I think there's a Penguin Classic of these letters. They are fascinating, especially when you read between the lines. Am I going to have to read between the lines? No, it looks like there are a lot of notes here. Good. Fantastic. Oh boy. And then finally we have the last book here. So we don't want this video to go on forever. And this last book has seen better days. It is falling apart. It is literally falling apart. It's making Jason Harrigan wince somewhere on the west coast of Ireland. I don't think there's any way to save this. What is this? Oh boy. Okay. Oh, I wish this were in better shape. You are not salvageable. Oh no. Look at that. You can see the boards. Every bit of this is just falling apart. Oh, too bad. Because this is a great book. This is a great book. This came out in 1937. This is Catherine Sanson. And this is her book, Living in Tokyo. And there you have one of the many illustrations that are all throughout this book. The illustrations are by Marjorie Nishiwaki. And this, Helen Sampson was a wonderful, wonderful person, a wonderful thinker, wonderful storyteller. And she lived in Japan for a long time as the wife of an official. There's the porch with all of the shoes left there. There are also color pictures all throughout here, or lightly color washes. Look at that. Is that a train? It must be. Oh, all right. Well, this is going to be really tough to read, not because it's not adorable. She did a great job. This is a great book. It's going to be tough to read because it's going to fall apart while I read it. It's literally going to fall into pieces while I read it. Oh, that is a shame. Well, when it does fall to pieces, I can save the artwork. Anyway, and then I never see this. Never. See. I don't think that that Living in Tokyo was ever reprinted. I don't think it was ever given like a Virago trade paperback or anything like that. Even if it were, I doubt it would include the artwork. And I never see this book used. I never see it crop up. Fantastic. Okay. Oh, and there's a bit of the spine. Just a bit of the spine. Oh my. So you would have been up top there. You fit just perfectly. You would have been up top there. Oh, okay. Well, this is going to get read first, but also last, because this is literally going to fall apart as I read it. So it gets priority over everything else in here because it's the best thing that... Oh, fantastic. Okay. All right. Well, I'm not going to do a Steve Pyramid because this thing can't handle it. This thing is going to fall apart. So, but still, it's still a treat. I will give it the one last loving read that every book wants. And then that'll be that. So that'll be that. Then it'll get a nice burial in the backyard. But anyway, there you go. That is books for a nice summer Saturday. With a few lectures. I'll try to remember to put a note in the notes down below that you could just skip this video if you don't want that. If I don't remember to leave that note, feel free to keep your opinions to yourself, your complaints about that to yourself. It's my channel. I can talk about whatever I want. And if I do remember to leave that note, also feel free to keep your objections to yourself, especially if your objections take the form of defending fascism. I'm going to delete such a comment, so you'd be wasting your time to post it. Quite a few of those 200 million Americans who are in favor of enslaving their children, if it'll just irritate Chad, somehow or other watch this channel. So I don't put up with it. I don't have to put up with it yet, so I'm not going to, so just don't bother. I apologize for the digressions. I will see to it they don't happen again. In the meantime, great books, including Pastor Abbott. That is incredible. I have 3 of his books now, where I had none before. Great. Okay. Well, first, though, it's this thing. First, I'm going to read this. So I'll wrap this up for now, but I'll be back. Sorry about the length. I'll see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.